Long ago, in the ancient world, there lived a group of wise men known as the Stoics. They came from Greece and Rome, and they spent their days thinking deeply about life. They asked big questions like, what does it mean to be happy? How can we live a good life? And why do we suffer? These questions are just as important today as they were back then. The Stoics believed that happiness was not about money, fame, or comfort. Instead, they taught that true happiness comes from within, from mastering our own minds and living in harmony with nature. The Stoics saw the world as a place of constant change. They understood that life is unpredictable. Some days are good, some are bad. People we love may leave us. Fortunes can be won or lost in an instant. But the Stoics believed that even in the middle of chaos we can find peace. How? By focusing on the one thing we truly control, our thoughts and actions. They said that external things, like wealth, health, or reputation, are not in our complete control. If we depend on them for happiness, we will always be disappointed. But if we train our minds to accept what we cannot change and act wisely in every situation, we will never lose our inner peace. One of the most famous Stoics was a man named Epictetus. He was born a slave, but through his wisdom, he became one of the greatest teachers of his time. Epictetus taught that happiness begins with understanding what is ours and what is not. He said, some things are up to us and some things are not. Our opinions, desires, and choices, these are ours. But the weather, other people's actions, or whether we get sick, these are not ours. If we confuse the two, we will always be unhappy. Imagine a man who gets angry because it rains on his wedding day. The rain is not in his control, but his anger is. If he accepts the rain and focuses on enjoying the day regardless, he remains happy. Another great Stoic was Seneca, a writer, and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. Seneca believed that happiness comes from living a life of virtue. To the Stoics, virtue meant wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. They thought that if a person lived by these principles, they would always be at peace, no matter what happened around them. Seneca wrote many letters about how to handle hardships. He said that suffering is not the problem, or fear of suffering is the problem. If we accept that pain is part of life and learn to endure it with strength, we take away its power over us. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, was also a Stoic. Even though he ruled one of the most powerful empires in history, he believed that true greatness came from self-discipline and humility. Every night, he wrote in his journal, reflecting on his actions and thoughts. He reminded himself to stay calm, to be fair, and to accept whatever life brought him. In his writings, now called meditations, he said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So what did the Stoics believe about happiness? They believed it was not something we find in the outside world. It was not in gold, in praise, or in perfect circumstances. Instead, happiness was a way of thinking and living. It was about training the mind to see obstacles as opportunities. It was about accepting what we cannot change and having the courage to change what we can. It was about living with virtue, even when no one was watching. The Stoics knew that life would test us. There would be loss, pain, and unfairness. But they also knew that within every person lies an unshakable strength, the ability to choose how we respond. A Stoic does not complain about the storm. They learn to sail in it. They do not cry when they fall. They rise and walk again. Happiness, for them, was not the absence of suffering, but the mastery over it. Think of a Stoic as a blacksmith forging a sword. The fire is hot, the hammer is heavy, and the work is hard. But with each strike, the metal becomes stronger. In the same way, life's difficulties shape us. If we face them with patience and wisdom, we grow stronger. We become unbreakable. That is the Stoic path to happiness. Now, imagine two people. One spends their life chasing pleasure. buying fine things, seeking fame, and running from discomfort. But no matter how much they have, they always want more. They are never satisfied. The other person lives simply. They enjoy good things, but do not cling to them. They face hardships with calmness. They help others, act with honor, and accept life as it comes. Who is truly happy? The Stoics would say the second person, because happiness is not in having what you want, but in wanting what you have. The Stoic philosophy is not about denying emotions or pretending life is easy. It is about seeing clearly and acting wisely. It is about recognizing that while we cannot control the world, we can control ourselves. And in that control, we find freedom. So if you seek happiness, look inward. Train your mind. Practice gratitude. Accept what you cannot change. Act with courage and kindness. These are the lessons of the Stoics. And though their words are ancient, their wisdom is timeless. For true happiness does not belong to any one time or place. It belongs to those who choose to live with wisdom, no matter what life brings. This is the way of the Stoics. This is the path to inner strength. And this is the secret of lasting happiness.